Hello and welcome back to the Manufacturer Studio here at Smart Manufacturing Week. It's day 2 and we have a very special guest over to the Manufacturer Studio. It's Guenther Steiner. Guenther, thank you very much for joining us. Look, you've not been here for long, but have you enjoyed it while you've been here, Smart Manufacturing Week?
First of all, thanks for having me, Tom. I've been here for long, and there's a lot of things happening here. I was quite, when I walked in, surprised how big and how many people which are here, so I think it's a very good event.
Now, obviously, people that are into Formula One will know who you are. People that aren't so into F1, maybe you could give a little bit of background about yourself and who you are and why you're here today.
I'm Guenther Steiner. I'm known for having been the team principal of Haas F1, and I work in motorsport since 1986, a long time, almost 40 years. So I've been around in that industry for a long time, and in the moment I'm not working in Formula One for a team anymore. I left Haas F1 beginning of last year, of 2024, and I worked not in all the categories in motorsport, but quite a lot of them. So, it's a very interesting industry I work in, but also this one, manufacturing, is a very interesting industry. I own myself a manufacturing company, composites company, so, I know a little bit about it, and that's why I think I was here to see what is going on here, first of all, and then also to speak with people about Formula One and any questions they had for me.
Yeah, fantastic. Look, tell us a little bit about the experience with Haas. And you were telling an absolutely captivated audience earlier. You really started this from scratch, didn't you? So, how was that experience?
First of all, I came into Formula One in a very strange way. I was invited into it from a guy like Niki Lauda, 3-time world champion. That was in the early 2000s, and then I was out of the sport for a while, setting up my manufacturing company, and then I had the idea, because I live in the States, and I had the idea that to found a team in the United States. There is a lot of people with money there, because that is what you need for Formula One at the time. An investor which wants to do this, which wants appetite for risk as well. And I started off with writing a business plan for Haas F1, and then going around and show the business plan to quite a few wealthy people, see if anybody was interested to open up an F1 team. And I found Mr. Haas, and then in 2014 we got a license, and I started to put a team together of people, to start to work on building the team. And then we did that for 1.5 years. I built the team first, and then we built the car, and then we went to our first race in 2016 in Melbourne.
And coming up against, far more established teams, the likes of Red Bull, Mercedes, and you were very much the new guys on the block at that point.
Yeah, we were the new guys on the block, and there were a little bit before us a few guys on the block, which unfortunately they all failed, but it is tough, because when you go into F1, you go in to compete against the best of the best, and you don't have, like, for example, I take just an example, football, that you can go from the 4th league to the 3rd league to the 2nd league to the 1st league. In Formula One, you go straight from nowhere into Formula One, so that's quite difficult. And the investors, what the problem normally is with the investor, if you don't have success in the first 3 years, either they run out of passion or they run out of money to do it, and then basically what that means, the team is done. But that was one of the tasks which I had in front of me, and the Haas F1 survived. It is still around.
Yeah, and obviously you talked about getting the best people in possible. You've worked with some phenomenal drivers, but you've worked with drivers with big egos, right? And obviously, high-level sport does create big egos. What was it like managing those people and kind of getting them to, all pull together and all see, the team goal rather than the individual, honours and awards and that sort of thing? How was that to manage?
It isn't easy, but big egos is nothing to explain the big egos, that they're just part of a team. And just not as diminishing, but the team is hundreds of people, and they are a very important part of it, but not the only part of it. You need everybody, and if your ego is too big for the team, you need to go, because there is no space for it. And you explain that to people that I always did. You're very important. Everybody loves you. You are the star, but that in the end you're part of a team. If you don't have all the other people around you, you cannot be successful. Your big ego doesn't help you. You need to be humble and embrace everybody, which helps you to be successful. This is the people which make you successful. So no point to have a big ego.
I think you've created a bit of a reputation for yourself as being quite a straight talker, quite direct, saying it how it is. But when it comes to managing such a big team, and team members that don't get the sort of recognition that some of the drivers get and some of the other engineers get, how critical was it to, and how did you manage to make those other people feel important and make them feel loved within the team, even though they weren't getting that recognition of other people?
Yeah, you need to make sure that they understand that they are appreciated, and I think the best way to always do that is just inform them what is going on in the company or in the team in this case, Always keeping people informed what is going on, what is the team aiming for, what is realistic to aim for. Always give them targets, explain them your vision, what you want, and then they keep engaged. Otherwise, if you just leave them, they are doing their job. As you say, after a while, they become the 8 to 5 jobs. They just come in to do a job and they are not putting their passion in. And that is what you always have to try to do, And obviously, the best medicine for that is success. When you have good results, but you don't have them all the time. And when you don't have the results, you still need to put emphasis on to keep them informed.
Yeah, of course. Let's talk about data quickly, because a lot of the conversations here at Smart Manufacturing Week will have been around data, obviously very integral to manufacturing organizations. It's been in F1 for a long time now, right? So what were some of the things that you did at Haas in terms of leveraging and using data?
In Formula One, you have got so much data these days, you almost got too much, and now the emphasis on to try to look at all the data. The human cannot look at all the data anymore. You need tools, AI tools to look at data. But in Formula One, it's quite natural that people look at data, because that is where they get their information from to make the car better. And so should it be in manufacturing. You need to look at data as nothing else of something which already happened. And if you know what happened, wrongly or rightly, you can make it better, So that was always the emphasis on, to look to analyze your data as good as you can. And in these days, normally you've got more data than we actually can digest. But again, then it's trying to find which is the data which actually makes us better for the future.
Sure. And, we were talking earlier about how important it is to have a human in the loop here. Is there a kind of danger on an over-reliance on AI tools when it comes to data? I mean, human intuition, certainly engineering intuition, is obviously still going to be important. It is important now and it will be in the future.
Yeah, AI, a lot of people are, I wouldn't say afraid, but they are wary of AI, because is that taking my job away? And I always say to people, AI will not take your job away. AI will help you to make your job, that you do a better job, but it will not take it away. And I think we all have to embrace AI wherever we can, but we cannot rely 100% on it, because the human being, I think it's always, for me, the most important thing in the chain of events.
Yeah. You were saying earlier, you're technically unemployed, but a very busy guy. You do these sorts of events from time to time. You've done quite a bit of TV work recently, and Drive to Survive was a huge Netflix hit, and you were very much a star of that. Do you think F1 came out of that in a positive light? Do you think there will be some kind of good perceptions of F1 there? Do you think it has attracted a wider audience as well?
Yeah, absolutely. It has attracted a wider audience, young people, which is, every sport wants young people to watch it, because they are the future. It had brought a lot of females to the sport, which before it was a male-dominated sport. Now almost 50% of the viewers are females, which is fantastic for a sport. So I think it helped. This Drive to Survive helped F1 a lot, also commercially, with the sponsors coming in, because they were interested. And it's one of these things, it came also at the right time. Obviously, it was the wrong time for the world, the pandemic. That was not the right time. It was a bad time for a lot of people, But people were at home, didn't know what to watch anymore. They watched Drive to Survive. And in parallel, F1 came back being live in June of that year of 2020, and people started to watch it. So I think in the end, it was a very good thing for F1.
Fantastic. Very final question. What is, in your opinion, the most important aspect of leadership?
For me, the most important is honesty. Be honest. Look problems in the eyes. Analyze them. Never find excuses. Always find solution. But honesty. If something is wrong, whoever it was, if it was you doing it wrong, admit it. I mean, it's as long as you don't do it wrong next time, you're fine. That's what I always say. So, but also if other people do wrong, say it. But do not, say how do we get it right? Do not dwell on the mistake. Dwell on the solution.
Yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure having you at the show, Guenther, and it's been great to speak to you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me here. Thanks. It's a great show.